October 22nd meeting of the Garden Grove City Council. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Councilmember
City.
Breitigam,
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Here.
Councilmember Dovin,
Present.
Councilmember Klopfenstein,
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran,
Here.
and Mayor Jones.
Here. May I ask Assistant City Manager Matt West to do an invocation followed by Councilmember Klopfenstein to lead us in the pledge.
Please prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, as we gather this evening, let us take a moment to reflect on our duty to protect and enhance the quality of life in our community. May our discussions be infused with respect and purpose as we collaborate to nurture the common good. Let us be inspired by the vision of a safe and thriving city for all, where every voice is not only heard but valued, and together may we strive to meet the diverse needs of our community, ensuring that every individual has the opportunity to flourish. We ask this in your name. Amen.
All right, we will hand it over to the Housing Authority. So I'll hand it over to Chair Kim Nguyen Peñalosa.
Clerk, can I please have roll?
Commissioner Beckles,
Here.
Commissioner Dovin,
Present.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Klopfenstein,
Here.
Commissioner Nguyen,
Here.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Here.
Commissioner Tran,
Here.
Vice Chair Breitigam,
Here.
and Chair Nguyen Peñalosa.
Here. Is there anyone wishing to speak for the Housing Authority? Seeing none, I'll move on over to consent. We have 2 items. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Beckles,
Yes.
Commissioner Dovin,
Present.
Commissioner.
Yes, I mean, I am here, and it's an aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Commissioner Nguyen,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill, Commissioner Tran,
Yes.
Vice Chair Breitigam,
Yes.
and Chair Nguyen Peñalosa.
Yes.
Motion received, 9 yes votes.
Are there any matters from commissioners? Thank you. Seeing none, I'll adjourn the meeting and kick it back to the mayor for city council.
Alrighty, we will reconvene City Council and go to presentations. We do have 2 items listed, so item 1.
Item 1 this evening is a community spotlight in recognition of the Eagle Scout project at the Medal of Honor Bike and Pedestrian Trail. And Assistant City Manager Matt West will provide that community spotlight.
Thank you. This evening, the Garden Grove City Council would like to recognize GGUSD student Ethan Tran for his Eagle Scout service project at the city's Medal of Honor Bike and Pedestrian Trail. I'd like to invite Ethan Tran to please come forward. A junior at Pacifica High School, Ethan is a dedicated Eagle Scout candidate who is part of Boy Scouts of America Troop 222. As an Eagle Scout candidate, Ethan was required to plan, organize, lead, and manage an Eagle Scout service project, which led him to the Medal of Honor Bike and Pedestrian Trail. Ethan and his family regularly frequent the trail where he noticed pet waste left behind by pet owners. Ethan wanted to ensure a cleaner, more enjoyable public space for all who use the trail. Ethan reached out to the city's Economic Development and Housing Department and proposed to install pet waste stations along the trail. In addition to developing a detailed proposal and budget, he raised over $2,524 in donations and fundraising efforts to secure the necessary materials and supplies to complete the project. Ethan's commitment and efforts resulted in the successful installation of 8 pet waste stations along the Medal of Honor bike and pedestrian trail. Currently, he is waiting for the Boy Scout Council to evaluate his Eagle Scout service project and determine his Eagle Scout rank eligibility. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present Ethan Tran with a certificate and memento of recognition for his Eagle Scout project at the Medal of Honor bike and pedestrian trail. The city of Garden Grove thanks him for his service and looks forward to congratulating him on his Eagle Scout rank. Congratulations.
Look at them all.
Congratulations, Ethan.
Yeah.
What is it?
Bless you.
All right, I just have a few words to say. Good evening, council and everyone. My name's Ethan, and I'm grateful for the opportunity the city of Garden Grove has provided me to give back to the community. And during this time, I was able to work with 3 great people, Eric Hong, Paul Guerrero, and Elena Chang. With a special thanks to Eric for guiding me throughout this project, and especially keeping in touch with me after my project, just to see where I was in terms of getting my Eagle rank. And I would also like to thank my parents for supporting me in all my endeavors that I undertake. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ethan. Well done. Yeah. All right, item number 2.
This evening, item number 2 is the City of Garden Grove First-Time Homebuyer Program Update. And Mr. Timothy Throne and Dana Yang are here to provide that presentation.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Dana Yang. I am the Program Specialist for the Economic Development and Housing Department. Right next to me, I have Tim Thorne. He is the Senior Program Specialist, and we are in charge of the First-Time Homebuyer Program. And I am here today to provide an update on the program, especially in light of the recent changes that have been made and approved by City Council. So the program was relaunched in 2018 and have been active for the past 7 years. We did notice that it has been difficult to issue new loans in light of the rising housing and living costs. Thanks to City Council's approval earlier this year, we were able to make updates to the program to better align with the rising costs. And as a brief overlook, our previous loan terms for 2018 through 2023 served the low-income households 80% AMI, and it was up to 60% for assistance with a 3% interest rate and a minimum of 1% down payment from borrowers' own funds. And then after the approvals, starting from 2024, we allowed low-income households to get up to $110,000 loan, and for the moderate income households, we included the $50,000 loan, and we lowered the interest rate from 3% to 0%, and we would require the minimum of 3% down payment from the borrower's own funds. So this is a brief overlook of the city's loan process that we would explain to the home buyer as we take them through the process. We do offer pre-approvals based on income, and once a home is found and escrow and the homeowner enters escrow, that is when we would do the underwriting process, and we also conduct city inspections just to make sure that the home is habitable and up to code. And once everything is approved, we do the loan documents and the executions of funds. And for more information on the whole process, you can also contact me or the city website as well. So in light of the new changes, we did execute a couple of public outreach events and marketing. So this past year, we have hosted 2 Homebuyer Day events here in Garden Grove, and we had 300 prospective home buyers, and we even had our own city manager, Lisa Kim, and Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Tran come and attend the event. And we have hosted it in collaboration with NeighborWorks OC, and and we are also going to be hosting another Homebuyer 101 virtual workshop starting from October 29th and oncoming for the next 3 months. So for current program updates, as of today, we are currently in escrow for 3 applicants, and we have issued 18 pre-approval letters to eligible applicants. We have recently just closed on 2 loans for low-income buyers, totaling $184,600, and we are currently allowing approximately 12 additional loans with our loan funds. And I also want to give a light to our other programs that we have in support for existing Garden Grove homeowners, which is the home repair program, which is a $5,000 grant for each applicant, and our re-roof program, which is a up to $20,000 loan for the rehabilitation of their full roof. And this actually concludes my presentation, and if you guys do have any more questions, just let me know, or you can also contact me through my contact information here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Colleagues, question? Cindy.
Yeah, I just want to say job well done. I went to couple event and Dana and Tim was there. Many residents from different city came to our booth and talked to Dana and Tim. Our booth was like so kind of crazy and so many people around. But not just that, during the speaking part, Tim was up there. People asked a lot of questions, and so I was there firsthand to see you guys do your work, and I really appreciate your effort and your dedication. It was during off hour, you was there. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
Alrighty, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now recess to conduct successor agency. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Mayor, did we want to do oral communications before we do?
Oh, we can do that. All right, we will do oral communications. You have a couple of cards, starting with Ian Fu. Please come forward.
Good evening, City Council. Yeah. I try to speak in English, but I'm not good in English, but I try to talk because I don't have.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't have my family member good English, so you know.
I can try to translate for her. If she
Yeah,
struggles.
I asked him
You're
to help
welcome
me
to, whatever
in
you-
case. Yeah. My house at the corner of Jacqueline and Orangewood, and the Orangewood traffic is so busy and so fast. And my garage on Orangewood, I live there almost like 15 years already, but no problem. But in I think around this month, they parked the car on Orangewood. They like completely block my view every time I back back out my car from garage. And very dangerous, and almost like 2 times, accident happened. So I already come to city. I talked to the code enforcement and engineer, but they asked me like to wait 2 months to see the traffic commission meeting in order to present to them. So they can help or not at that time. But like the danger can happen every day, anytime, any day. So I think that I cannot wait in 2 months in order to see them. So I would like the council can help me to solve that problem. Like they put the red on there, the 3 car over there. So I can, every time I can move like this, I can see 3 car only. So I can see the traffic. Because, I don't want to get accident at my fault. But not because of me. I don't know. Do you understand me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, very dangerous every day. So scary.
Yeah.
And in my family, like 2 kids go to school every day. So
Yeah.
how can I?
Thank you. Just
So-
to be clear, the oral communications is just for you to address council, and it's not really a dialogue. I have your card, and we'll pass it on to staff to follow up with you, and we will look into
Yeah.
this more closely and see if
Yeah.
there's something we can do to expedite taking a look at the traffic hazard situation there. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for
So,
coming out and
yeah,
addressing
please,
us.
Please help me as soon as possible.
Yep.
Because very dangerous.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Nicholas Dibbolus.
It's Nicholas Dibbs. Mayor Jones, members of the council, I want to clarify what I said at the last meeting. The school district, Garden Grove Unified, unveiled its 15th pathway for skilled trades. I've been working on this for over 8 years on trying to get our trade classes back to our 10 intermediate schools that were lost their wood shop and metal shop. Been working on it for over 8 years, and then our 4 high schools that lost auto shop. The city was invited to participate at that event on September 29th. Councilman O'Neill and Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Tran were there on behalf of the city and presented some sort of a proclamation or letter of support. I'm okay with that. I just want the residents of Garden Grove to know that this was done surreptitiously by the school district, unethically, very unfair. It was not brought out and approved by the school board ahead of time. They didn't finally approve it until October 15th. My concern is that, which I have voiced at the school board and in emails to Dr. Maffei, is that our taxpayer funds of the school district, as well as any other public entity, should not be used to manipulate or try to show favoritism just before an election. This event that was held by the school district was to roll out skilled trades at only 1 high school, and it won't start until August of 2025. My concern is, as in the past, when they manipulated the election in 2016, when I ran, is that they rolled this out just before ballots went out, in secret, without any approval by the school board ahead of time, with no transparency, like pulling a rabbit out of a hat or putting lipstick on a pig. Here it is. And it was very unfair of Dr. Maffei and the school board to do this. And of course, they co-opted the city into coming, and you didn't know this, what they were up to, but basically it's very unfair. And this is the last meeting before the election, and we have to have fair elections in this country. And it bothers me when public funds are being used to try to influence an election and give the incumbent all kinds of publicity about this event that isn't even going to have a start until August of 2025. So my question is, why did they wait till the last minute when they've had 8 years to work on it, and my comments have been falling on deaf ears, and they finally do something, and then give the incumbent all this publicity? So we need to be aware of this, that public funds should not be used in an unethical and unfair manner to give an incumbent favoritism over somebody else just before the election. So that's my clarification from the last board meeting. And I also want to say to the voters, I'm running out of time, but go to democracynow.org and learn the truth. As a teacher and an educator, I'm against the war crimes being committed by our president and his administration. Go to democracynow.org and learn the truth. And I hope our war criminal president will move on, and we will have a new president of this country who will be for human rights and justice and not allowing U.S. weapons to be used to kill thousands of innocent people. Thank you for listening.
That's all the cards I have. Is there anyone else wishing to speak who did not submit a card? Alrighty, we will close oral communications, and now we will recess over to successor agency.
Member Breitigam?
Here.
Member Tran?
Here.
Member Dovin?
Present.
Member Klopfenstein?
Here.
Member Nguyen Peñalosa?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Neill?
Here.
And Chair Jones.
Here. Okay, we already did oral communications. Consent calendar, we just have receive and file the minutes. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Call the vote.
Sorry, I'm having a technical issue here on I'm going to have to redo the voting. Let's continue to have an issue. I need to do a roll call vote, please. Member Breitigam?
Yes.
Member Tran?
Yes.
Member Dovin?
Aye.
Member Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Member Nguyen Peñalosa?
Yes.
Vice Chair O'Neill?
Yes.
And Chair Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters? Seeing none, we will adjourn to Sanitary District. I'll hand it over to President John O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to call the Garden Grove Sanitary District Board of Directors meeting to order for October 22nd. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Member Breitigam?
Here.
Member Dovin?
Present.
Member Klopfenstein? Member Nguyen Peñalosa?
Here.
Member Jones?
Here.
Vice President Tran?
Here.
And President O'Neill.
Thank you, I'm here. We have already held oral communications simultaneously. We only have receive and file the minutes on consent tonight.
Second.
Motion and a second. Let's call for the vote on that.
We're going to do a roll call vote on this, please. Member Breitigam?
Yes.
Member Dovin?
Aye.
Member Klopfenstein? Yes. Member Nguyen Peñalosa?
Yes.
Member Jones?
Yes.
Vice President Tran?
Yes.
And President O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters from directors? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn till the next meeting, which would be November 26th here in this room.
Alrighty, we will reconvene City Council. That takes us on to consent calendar. It's recommended that 3 through 8 be acted on simultaneously. Unless anyone would like to pull, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Call the vote.
Try this again. Still have an issue. Roll call vote, please. Councilmember Breitigam?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin?
Aye.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran?
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right, moving right along. Items for consideration. We do have 4 items listed. We'll start with item number 9.
This evening, item number 9 is award of contract to Lead Electric, Inc. for the Lamson, Magnolia, and West Garden Grove Reservoir BPS SCADA Improvements Project, project number CP1268288. And Mr. Bill Murray is here to provide that report.
Ms. Vasquez, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight, City Council is being asked to award a contract to Lead Electric Incorporated to update our supervisory, control, and data acquisition systems for 3 significant water facilities in the city. These facilities are reservoirs and booster pump stations. This project was identified in the 2020 SCADA, which is the short term for supervisory control and data acquisition. But it was identified in our SCADA master plan, and will upgrade the software and hardware equipment to operate these 3 facilities. And essentially, this equipment is the brains of the facilities. So this project will remove and replace the existing programmable logic controllers, or PLCs, install new control panels, install new chemical dosing skids, provide for the replacement of select field instrumentation and valve controls, and the replacement of engine control panels, and finally provide for all of the required conduits, conductors, and junction boxes. Staff received and opened 3 qualified bids on October 2nd of this year and determined that Lead Electric was the lowest responsible bidder with a bid of almost $2.5 million. Should the council decide to award the contract tonight, contractor can begin work in November and should be complete by September of next year. This project will be paid for with water funds. This concludes staff's report. I'm available should you have any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Colleagues, anything? Or
One quick question.
go ahead, Joe.
What particular pump over on the west side are we talking about? The one on Cerulean or the one over on Knott?
I don't believe either one of those 2 are involved in this. You're looking at Lamson, Magnolia. Let me pull out the other one. Lamson, Magnolia. Oh, the West Garden Grove Reservoir. They didn't name the exact one. I believe this is the one off of Knott.
Okay.
That'll be in the. I think they have the tennis courts on top of that one.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
And the
that's-
ice hockey, or the roller hockey rink. Or
I'm pretty sure that that's the one that's being worked on. I'll go ahead and run that by our staff and make sure it is and get back to you.
Well, I'll make the motion.
Call to vote.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran,
Yes.
Councilmember Brightingham,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin,
Aye.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
And Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Item 10.
Item 10 is award a contract to All Cities Engineering, Inc. for the construction of the Chapman Avenue and Dale Street Water Improvements Project, project number CP 1361000, and Mr. Murray will provide that report.
Mr. Vasquez, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council. Tonight, City Council is being asked to award a contract to All Cities Engineering Incorporated for the construction of waterline improvements in the unincorporated area of Chapman and Dale Street. The project will abandon the existing 4- and 6-inch asbestos concrete water lines and construct approximately 9,800 feet of 8-inch polyvinyl chloride pipe, which is PVC pipe, to distribute that water in the same locations. This project was identified in the 2020 Master Water Plan Update with the identified goal of removing our asbestos concrete pipe. That pipe is at the time that it was installed back in the 50s and 60s as a new and improved material. However, it turned out to be very brittle. So one pipe can continue to break along a street repeatedly. So anytime we have the opportunity, we go ahead and replace it as soon as possible. So not only do we have the AC pipe issue, but we also have the issue where all of those existing pipes are too small. 4- and 6-inch pipes simply don't cut the fire flow rate that we need to provide adequate fire protection in those areas. So with those joint issues in this area, it was easy to go ahead and select this project. This project includes the construction of 19 fire hydrants, 208 water service connections, and 3 connections back into the main water system. Staff received and opened 11 qualified bids on October 2nd of this year and determined that All Cities Engineering was the lowest responsible bidder with a bid of just over $4.1 million. Should the council decide to award the contract tonight, the contractor can begin work in December and should be completed by May of next year. This project will be paid for with water funds and is included in this year's CIP report. This concludes staff's report. I'm available should you have any questions.
Thanks, Bill. Joe?
Have we retained this contractor before?
Not this one. I'm not
Okay.
familiar with them at all, but all of the references are checked. Whenever we get a contract in, they provide references, licenses, and required insurances. We go through and vet all of those before we select a contractor.
So they've been in other cities in Orange County and have good references?
I believe that this one was out of LA.
LA?
Yeah.
And
Yes, all of the, I mean, they're going to put down references of favorable contracts. Nobody's going to
Mhm.
put down a references. Somebody
So
didn't like them.
the materials that's going to be replaced, they have it supplied, there's no supply chain issues, and they will install it in the time frame that's allotted?
We're not aware of any supply chain issues on the PVC pipe. Various other valves and things like that can be subject to supply chain issues, but so far we're expecting good things.
Would there be any incidentals in case, once they break into the work and they find that there are more work than we contracted for, can they circle back and ask us to amend?
They always can, but they'll have to go through me first.
And you're pretty confident that their low bid will be adequate?
I've been here since '97. I've come back to council 2 times to ask for additional money on my contracts. One of those times was due to an additional request from the city manager. The other time, I believe that there was an unforeseen underground issue which involved a lot of wet soil that we encountered. Basically, it was an underground spring. Other than that, our projects are fairly solid.
Okay, thank you for that, because they are low in comparison to the other bidders, and it is a first that we've given them a contract, so hopefully we have good news to report once it's completed. Can you come back and kind of assure us that maybe we want to use them again in the future if they do a great job?
Will do.
Thank you, sir.
George?
Just to clarify, this is that water line where we service the unincorporated area of Anaheim
It's in the
Island. I think they
county.
cost it that area.
Yeah.
So it's actually servicing not the city, but our water services that unincorporated area, correct?
That's correct. However, they are ratepayers. They are Garden Grove ratepayers.
Sure. Okay, thank you for the
Garden
clarification. I'll make the motion.
Water ratepayers.
I'll second.
Call to vote?
Member Bredicum? Yes. Member O'Neill? Yes. Councilmember Dovin?
Aye.
Councilmember Klopfenstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran?
Yes.
And Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Item number 11.
Item number 11 is the authorization to participate in the fiscal year 2024 COPS Technology and Equipment Program, TEP, for a grant amount of $350,000. And Chief Alvaro is here to provide that report.
Good evening, Mayor Jones and council members. The police department is seeking approval to participate in the COPS Technology and Equipment Program. This is a federal grant in the amount of $350,000 that was secured with the help of Congresswoman Steele's office, and we are grateful for her continued support. This grant will enhance cybersecurity efforts in the city. Our IT department will take the lead to initiate the procurement process, select a vendor, and implement the program. The period would be effective until March 31st of 2026. There is no local matching requirement and no fiscal impact on the general fund. It is recommended that the City Council authorize this participation in the Office Technology and Equipment Program, approve additional appropriation in the amount of $350,000 for the fiscal year 2024, and authorize the police chief or his designee to execute the grant agreement and file periodic reports with the Department of Justice Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Colleagues? Or
Move it.
motion?
Very nice, thank you.
Call to vote?
Mayor Jones,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran,
Yes.
Councilmember Bredigam,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Jovin,
Aye.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
And Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Item 12.
Item number 12 is introduction and first reading of an ordinance adding Chapter 8.96 to the municipal code pertaining to camping on public places and interfering with public access. Ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove, adding Chapter 8.96 to Title 8 of the Garden Grove Municipal Code pertaining to camping on public places and interfering with public access. And City Attorney Sandoval will provide that report.
Here, members of the City Council, before you is an ordinance that is being proposed for you to introduce and pass to second reading. The ordinance would regulate camping on public places, also sleeping on public places, and interfering with public access. In addition, the interfering with public access expands the public places to also include private properties that, within 20 feet of an entrances of commercial or other property that's open to the public, within 20 feet of automatic teller machines, ATMs, and within 250 feet of any private or public school or daycare center. These proposed regulations are an additional tool to the multiple programs that we already have in place to address quality of life issues in the city. There is no intent or interest in reducing any of those programs or setting them aside. We will continue with those programs. This is just another tool that we can use to address those issues. That's my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions, or if you want a full-blown, I can read the whole staff report if you wish to.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor?
you, Omar. Joe
Go ahead.
first.
Good.
Or, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I brought this forward, and I just, kind of the history I want. First of all, I want to congratulate this dais, the entirety, every one of us. Our point in time count dropped tremendously compared to all the other cities in California. We've tackled the issue of homelessness head on, and quite frankly, we've been very successful in our efforts. And I think no one has really pointed it out. We've seen double-digit reductions, and we've done it in a compassionate, responsible way, not just the heartless, get out of here and, this kind of stuff. So, first of all, congratulations to everybody for that. The history of that goes back, and Steve Jones actually deserves a lot of credit. I mean, he started it a long time ago, before most of us, or before any of us were on this dais. And the outreach efforts started, with the mental health facility behind Garden Grove Hospital, and then expanded. We've got domestic violence shelters. We've got all these other resources. We moved into the Be Well mobile mental health applications. We contracted with Cal Optima for the mobile medical facilities that go out to these locations where homeless will tend to accumulate, and they make sure that they have the needed health care and medical services that they need. We just recently opened up a navigation center. That navigation center is now up and running at pretty good capacity, and it's proven to be a pretty successful thing. I think that's one of the key things we've seen in this big reduction number that we had this year. Is that going to cure everything? No. And nothing we do is going to cure 100%. But we're making a tremendous impact, more so than any other city in this state. So kudos for that. We are also looking to implement, I think it's a Cal Optima over at the Hotel for Permanent Supportive Housing over in my district. That will have bed space. Well, it'll be it's a hotel that they converted basically into housing, and so homeless folks that have medical problems have a place to recover, and also families that have kids and they don't want to take them to a shelter, and also veterans. It services our veterans. So we've done we've given much thought, planning, time. Staff has done a tremendous job, both at City Hall and at the police department. We started this SRT team, and which always confuses me because I come from LAPD and SRT is the street racing task force. So, but in Garden Grove it's the homeless outreach officers, so it always gets me. But and so we've created the SRT team that has been just tremendously successful in directing these individuals to resources that are available, and we've got a lot. We've created a lot. As a Dias, I think our city has really gone overboard in the last probably at least 10 years of things to offer. With that being said, our SRT team will go out to these encampments and they offer all these resources to everyone, and very few accept them. For whatever reason, our navigation center actually has job training, job placement, mental health, drug addiction. We have all this available, but for whatever reasons they don't want it, and so they clean up the location, and within a day or two, everything's back to how it was. So it's kind of like whack-a-mole. You go and you clean it out, and so this ordinance basically now gives the police department the ability to go and say, look, we have all these programs for you. We really encourage you to take advantage of these. And when they say no, then that's fine. You have the right to say no. However, you can't continue to be here. You can't continue to do this. It's not healthy. It's not compassionate to allow them to die in the streets. And that's literally what's happening with a lot of these homeless. In LA last year, they reported over 5,000 people died, homeless individuals. I don't know what the number is statewide. I'm imagining it's pretty high. It's not compassionate to do nothing. And I think that's why this Dias deserves a big round, a lot of kudos, and city staff, our police department, just gone aboard to address this head on. So I brought this forward to give now the teeth, or as our mayor likes to say, we got the carrot, now we got a stick, right? So we've got all these carrots, but we needed a stick, and this is kind of the stick. And the whole intent of it is for it to be used compassionately, not draconian. We want to encourage them first to take advantages of all these services that we have. And then, if all else, sorry, we have this law. You can't continue to be here. So that was the nix of it, and with the reversal of the Grants pass, or the Boise decision, I thought it was a timely time to get this on our books for our city. So, and I'll make the motion.
I'll second it, and just want to say, George, that was very well said, and thank you for pointing out a lot of those elements of everything we're working on. You're right that we don't promote, or we don't advertise what we're doing probably loud enough, but there's so many facets to homelessness and all the things that we're doing to address it, and we are doing a great job here in the city, and we probably should get a bigger bullhorn to let people know and kind of point out some of the statistics and stuff. So thanks for those comments. Cindy.
So I will try not to repeat the same thing Councilman Brigham already talked about. Like, congratulations to our staff and the council and the previous council. I just came back from the Cal City meeting last week, and homeless is one of the top topic that people were talking about. I attend several meetings related to that, but we have to say that the navigation center and all the things that we have done have a great result. There was city or people that was selected to be on the panel talking about that, and my question to them, they only allow me to have one question. I asked, how do you measure your success? Because they were up there and they were the model for everyone to follow. What were the count before and after? The answer was the count was the same. I said I could tell you the successful that came from the three cities that work together, and I will not take too much time here, but that's a kudos to the staff and everyone here. So thank you.
Anybody else? You don't need to, just Yeah, I didn't know if you're waiting to.
I do have a couple of questions for our attorney and then perhaps one for the chief. The first question is, with this ordinance and this amendment, are we in line with the state legislation adopting this? Is there anything that's out of line with what has been passed recently, and will we be a good law?
So there's no state legislation pertaining to these particular regulations. So these are going to be local regulations that we will be implementing in this city.
Okay. Second question is, are we, have we heard of any objections and anybody is opposed that might find cause for civil rights lawsuit?
Well, civil rights will arise anytime you have any arrest or any enforcement, right? And our police officers are trained on the, on the not just First Amendment, but Fourth Amendment, Eighth Amendment. And so they have the training to be able to enforce these regulations. We have to have probable cause, obviously, and there has to be a violation before these can be enforced. And obviously, we follow the Constitution in doing so. And that applies to all our regulations. So it's not specific to this one. It's pretty much every regulation in our municipal code. We have to follow constitutional requirements.
Okay, so that leads me to the third question for our chief is on the enforcement part. Do we have the resources in our police department, and will we be issuing citations as one of the administrative we have to be able to enforce, and
Of course.
I want to feel comfortable that our department is ready to handle it once that we go through the second reading and actually approve.
Of course, I think as what was stated earlier, this is just another tool that's going to be in our belt to deal with the situation. But our police department, our city, is the blueprint for handling the homelessness crisis that's plagued much of our state. And so I'm very confident in it. I'm grateful to have this tool in our box, if you will, and we'll take appropriate action when necessary. But we always lead through compassion and outreach. And then if it rises to the level where we need to take an enforcement action, we will do so.
Thank you, sir, and we appreciate you being there for us, and the whole city is really riding on your police force. I'll circle back quickly with Omar. I think he should read it from memory. It's only 4 pages, probably read it a few times. That's it. Thank you, Omar.
Stephanie.
Thank you. And as the chief said, it's a very important tool for our city and for our police department. I think it's furthering the mission of letting the residents know that we're listening to them and what matters to them, protecting our community and businesses. I'm really proud that we're adding to this comprehensive plan that we've created here in Garden Grove. I do have a question. Would we be able to add data from this ordinance to our data dashboard, either on the website, on our comprehensive plan website for homelessness, or perhaps at our council meetings in the future?
Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you, Councilmember Klopfenstein, for that suggestion. We will look into providing additional updates on the implementation of this ordinance. As the council knows, we have the 2021 Comprehensive Strategic Plan to address homelessness, and in next month, coincidentally, we'll be coming back with an update to that plan in terms of our progress on implementation. And so as we move forward, be happy to add that update when we bring back those periodic updates to our plan. Thank you.
And I want to make sure that everyone understands that if you approve the first reading, it'll come to your next meeting for second reading, and at second reading it can be adopted. Once adopted, it doesn't take effect until 30 days after that. So, and the clerk will publish a summary of it after second reading and adoption.
Kim.
You, 2 questions. First question is, can you walk us through what will happen when an officer or Be Well encounters an individual who's refusing services? But they're part of an encampment, they've got a lot of junk with them, they're being disruptive. I want like a real life scenario of a worst case situation here.
Sure. Like I said, the officers will always lead with the compassionate outreach portion of it. If that's a refusal and they're violating any one of the state statutes or our new ordinance, if it gets implemented here, then the officers will take that action. And those individuals usually will be taken to jail, and they're usually cited and released. And it'll probably be the multiple violations where they'll probably look at some jail time. But hopefully with that realization, they'll understand that the better path to success in ending homelessness is actually accepting that outreach.
Thank you. Next question is, do we have anything, I didn't see it explicitly listed, but as many of you know, I complain every single meeting, and I will during matters again, regarding Caltrans or county property areas where we have no jurisdiction. What are our officers going to do or be able to do in those areas?
Our ordinances can only apply within our jurisdiction. So this ordinance cannot be enforced outside of our jurisdiction. Caltrans is state of California and CHP jurisdiction, and so normally we will work with the state of California, and CHP will provide assistance, and to the extent that we work together, our officers also work together with CHP to provide that, we work cooperative with them.
I just want to reiterate my frustration, because I think, when we call upon our officers, they handle the situation very quickly. But when it's county or, the flood channels or the Caltrans area along the freeways, that can take days, weeks, months before it's cleaned up and acted upon. And in that time frame, we have a lot of criminal activity occurring in these specific areas. The one that I complain the most about is Harbor and Trask, but also Hastur and Garden Grove Boulevard between Hastur and Fairview. And so it's a huge concern for me. And I know that you just indicated there's nothing really we can do in our ordinance to directly tackle that effort. But I think we should look into at some point, if our other public agency stewards of these areas are not going to be accountable for their own areas, that we should be able to find them or take some other measure to push them to do the work that they're supposed to be doing. I understand that they cover the entire state of California and the entire county, but that does not mean that they should slack on their responsibility to ensure the safety of our residents, because a lot of their properties back into backyards of our residents and are having to deal with people entering their property, trespassing and committing harm or endangering them. So I just want to iterate my frustration, and I hope that we can look into other ways that we can kind of put these other agencies to the fire and make them do their job, because I shouldn't have to make a request to the chief, once a week about a particular area and then wait, a week or two or more before it's addressed, because those are really the hot spots. This is where they're being able to circumvent, our means of addressing the issue. With that being said, I do want to thank staff wholeheartedly for all of their efforts. I want to reiterate the comments that Councilmember Bottingham stated about all of the efforts that we've been making over the last 8+ years, between mental health, physical health, housing resources, job training, job skills, nutrition. We have really gone above and beyond and provide services to these individuals as best as we can for those who are willing to take the services. I think now we're dealing with individuals that have issues that are going to take a lot longer than 1 or 2 engagements, and that may be so far down a path that they're not seeing the light to help recover and reintegrate into society. And so we need to provide this tool to our officers to ensure that our residents are safe. We have seen increased number of incidents with high school students walking to school, or any student walking to school or home, seniors, residents, families, so on and so forth, businesses. We've had individuals come and complain here about not even being able to enter or exit their place of business because there's an encampment growing in front of their place of business. And so this is really something that we need on the books to be able to help those who are suffering at the hands of this epidemic, and hope that it'll provide some relief to our residents. And so I hope that people who have seen this item on the agenda and who are either upset or happy have gone through and read the report and really do take care to notice all the other resources and all the other, events that have taken place before getting to this point. Like, we've tried everything, and this is just something else that we need to do to ensure a happy and healthy Garden Grove for everyone. Thank you.
John.
Just real quick. Yeah, I just thought I'd comment on this. So we've come a long way in the county, and especially what Garden Grove has done, as George mentioned. To me, this is the the tough love arm of what we've been doing, right? So we've done everything else first, and, you know, it's not compassionate to let people die on the street or to overdose or to camp out and to leave them out, especially in the wintertime. I wanted to maybe ask the attorney too, if it is adopted after the second reading, would it be 30 days from that reading?
Yes. it's
Okay,
30
so it'd be
from that.
before December, before January, because we had an incident near, it was District 3, but it was right across the street from District 2, where, you know, a known homeless guy died in the winter because it was so cold. In the morning, he was dead, you know. So I think we're saving lives by forcing people to take the services that we have, right? So this is to me, it's what I always been talking about for years. It's the tough love and the compassion to say, hey, you can't stay here. We won't let you kill yourself or die on the street just because, you know, there was no Supreme Court decision that said that we couldn't push you away. But anyway, to me, it's the tough love arm of it. So thanks.
Thank you, Mayor, and honorable colleagues. Please endorse me in just 1 minute, because I'd really like to read this into the record, the city attorney summary. It only took a minute, and for some of our fellow residents and citizens who are visually impaired like I am, you don't always have the ability to read it outright. So I'm just going to read it into the record for the benefit of people who are watching at home or wants to listen like I do when I go back home. I get the benefit of the audio and, on Channel 3. So City Attorney Summary. This ordinance adds chapters 8.96 to Title 8 of the Garden Grove Municipal Code to prohibit camping, sleeping, storing personal property on public places, or interfering with public access to public places. Public places include locations such as street, alleyway, sidewalk, median, parkway, driveway, right-of-way, public restroom, public bench, or bus shelter, park, open space, storm drain, public building or parking lot, and may include locations on private property, such as within 20 feet of an entrance or exit to any building, establishment, retail store, restaurant, office building, or other place into which the public is invited, within 20 feet of an automatic teller machine or any door or entrance that provides access to the automatic teller machine, and within 200 feet of a public or private school or daycare center. Exceptions to the prohibition include locations where camping events have been permitted, or during parades, races, or processions along their routes. The ordinance has provisions for the removal of abandoned property on public places, period. That ends the city attorney summary, and as you see, this will help our city tremendously, but also puts a burden and challenge on our police force. Please cooperate, and the next council who will take this seat in December will be called upon to enforce this ordinance once it becomes law. So our citizens can now call our city police department and our city council and hold us accountable to this ordinance. It's a lot of responsibility, and we need everyone to cooperate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second, so.
I do have one quick question I'd like to clarify too, if you don't mind. I was having a discussion with my wife about this afternoon, and she brought up a question, because it does cover business locations, private property. What happens when there's a conflict between the business's ideology and the city's ideology? A good example, some large chain stores invite the homeless to come camp in their parking lot. And it would be a violation of this ordinance. Who takes precedent, the city ordinance or the private property owners?
Yeah, if you look at the ordinance, it's 20 feet within an entrance or exit. So it doesn't really apply to private parking lots. It applies to public parking lots, but not private parking lots. And the 20-foot limitation is for the entrances and exits. And 90% of our regulations we enforce not proactively, but what's the word? Reactively. In
Right.
other words, someone calls in a complaint about someone violating the code, and that's when police is dispatched. So it's not like we're, I don't know that we have enough officers to be in every corner in every commercial center or daycare center or school to be able to proactively enforce these regulations.
Okay.
And most entrances to businesses are going to be very close to the public right-of-way. They're usually right next to a public right-of-way, such as a sidewalk.
Right.
So in most of the situations, it's going to be covered by a provision of the ordinance without being 100% on private property.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Motion and a second, maybe call to vote?
Councilmember Brightigam.
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin.
Aye.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen Peñalosa.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tran.
Yes.
And Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right, that takes us on to matters. There's nothing listed, but we'll go around the horn, starting with Councilmember Brightigam.
Sure. Well, today we had a good the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce had their directors lunch and installation. So that was a fun event. I do want to talk a little about, you guys had kind of given me direction to meet with staff on the tree ordinance revisions, and we've met a couple of times actually. We actually included the workers who actually are out there doing the day-to-day work, because I wanted to make sure their input was heard as well. So I did my revisions and I sent it to Public Works and Sam over there, and then he did his revisions, sent it back to me. I am gonna be geeking those probably tomorrow, and then it looks like everybody's happy with that final product. I think you guys will all be happy with it too. So I got to send that over to Omar sometime this week so he can geek it and make sure we're doing everything legal and whatnot. So expect to see that soon, hopefully before this body is no longer a body, and so that is coming. We are working on it. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Hey, I was invited a little over a week ago by my counterpart in Anaheim, which is the council member Carlos Leon in District 2 of Anaheim, happens to butt up to District 2 of Garden Grove, and himself and Congressman Lou Correa, who used to represent part of Garden Grove, but unfortunately with the district changes, Garden Grove kind of got cut out, so he still represents Anaheim. But they have a great thing I wanted to make you aware of. It's through this Anaheim Transportation Network, and Congressman Correa brought, just to get the system going, he brought in $800,000 from federal money to buy electric vans to transport resort area workers that work, second and third shift. So, and this could affect Garden Grove too. It gets people home safely, or people that, they don't have the means to have the car, or they're trying to take the bus, but the bus isn't available. So not only is it electric vehicles that the congressman got money for to kick it off, is that it's going to help these folks that work in the resort district, help them get to and from work. So it'll affect Garden Grove too. So it was a great event, and thank you for the councilmember Leon and Congressman Lou Correa for inviting me over to that. Appreciate it. And that's all we got. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Two quick things. So first one, I want to report about the Cal City meeting that I went. Thanks to Councilmember Kim Nguyen Peñalosa for encouraging me to come. Also give me the opportunity to vote for our city too. So a couple of things I want to bring back. During that, the whole time, of course, the main topic that everyone was talking about more about the homeless issue and some of the things that I mentioned earlier. And hearing about the panel talking about people successful on housing or helping the homeless, I was sitting with our city manager, Lisa Kim, and assistant city manager Matt West during that time. And I'm thinking, you know, our navigation center only opened for a couple months. We got to the 100% occupied. And so what is the next step, right? Okay, the prevention and the transition. So we have from now to the next year to work on it. And so that maybe next year we could submit our city, you know, the navigation center that with the 3 cities that working together. And I think that we have a great chance for doing that. It's just a matter of how we do it from here, execute from here, so that way we have something that with the great result. The last couple of days, I did have people approach me about, you know, the ordinance. I received email, people supporting this and asking our council member to vote yes on this. But also for them, the only way that is successful that they don't see homeless in our city. That of course not gonna be that like almost impossible. But I think with the staff and with the council that we have now, we try our best. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully next year we could nominate our project for that. And then during that meeting, I got to see other council member and exchange and learning from each other. But the last day, we got to have the panel where our mayor, Mayor Steve Chum, was one of the guest speaker up there talking about how successfully or I get the trick to run the council meeting. And it's just great that many things that we are doing right now, other cities do not get a chance to do that, especially the part that we do the agenda review ahead. And that where a lot of our questions, I'm pretty sure all the council members here the same way, like especially for me, you know, asking questions and getting to know more, so that way when we have that meeting, it runs smoothly. So really appreciate that. Everybody love our mayor. And yeah, so great event. And like again, thanks to Councilmember Kim for encouraging me to, that was my first time ever to attend a meeting. So that first. And second is more about now that going to the election season. And so just kind of give me a reflection of when I first ran, you know, what was that I was passionate about. And so a couple of things was about, you know, homeless and safety. I know that I try, you know, going after the homeless. When people, residents call me about homeless issue, when I can, I actually took action, go there, see it, call our staff, etc. And there was several successful stories where that they reached out to us, we took action, and then that problem was solved. So that's awesome to see that. So beside that, you know, some of the things that we implement for homeless and safety, I think one thing I talked to a business owner yesterday, the same thing relate about homeless and issue that at that location. But and I think our council here support our police and all that. But I think one thing is that they still have, in certain cases, we don't have the response fast from police. Probably we don't have enough police to take care of all the call, but that is something that maybe a room for improvement or something that we could look into getting better. And then the other two were the part in the businesses, support the businesses. I know that whatever we heard about grant, about different things, help the business, our staff did a good job to provide different tours, different opportunity. But at present, I still see many businesses that do not know about the grant that we have. When I talk to them like this, first time that they heard, and also not just that, but I have seen businesses that actually, because in my district 3, we have a lot more businesses, and they have to close their business and sell it or things like that. So that is something that probably will work with the staff and see what else can we do. And I talked to Council Member Stephanie Coffinson. Maybe we could do a seminar for, you know, business forum when we invite the business to come and talk to us and see, you know, what their concern they need and etc. So basically that's it. I just, you know, opportunity for me to hear all the things that people are running for, and so what is it that we want to do, and did we meet that? So that was it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Brother Joe.
Thank you, Mayor and colleagues. I know that usually it's the mayor's job to close out the meeting with some recognition or in memory of someone who served I'd like to recognize our city clerk, Terry Pomeroy, tonight, who has retired as of last week. As Citizen Joe, I came into her office and always got the best assistance I could hope for of any city clerk. I've always get information from her, emails, return calls promptly. I'm going to miss her a lot, and I think we all can relate to that. 33 years, unelected, but a dedicated public servant, and always a ready smile, always at the counter. And now we have Liz Vasquez. Welcome aboard. Thank you for coming on board. I'm always for internal promotions, and I know we can blame you for any IT malfunctions now. How many roll calls we have? Anyway, I appreciate you coming on board. So welcome on board, and we're gonna remember Terry for a long, long time. I just wanted to shout out. Sorry, I could have stole your thunder there.
That's well done, yeah.
Secondly, I am so proud of everybody on this council, especially the senior council members who will be leaving at the end of the year, and I will miss them also. I'm the benefactor of all their hard work over the years, and you see that in the anti-camping. We call it anti-camping. Okay, let's just call it that. Sounds a little bit negative, but over a course of, 8 years before we can pass it, and I'm sure it will pass in the second reading. And I'm going to miss all you guys when you term out, and that's the only reason why you're not going to be here. So a couple more meetings, but I look forward to the next council, and they will have to carry the day. We're going to sign this ordinance on the back of our police force. So I want people to remember that. It's added responsibility, a lot of work, and we count on our special response team, SRT. So I want our citizens to know that our police force needs to be compensated and incentivized. And we can't say no when they come to us and ask us for just compensation. We should, and we have provided that. I'm just reminding people our police force is going to work overtime with this ordinance being enforced. So let's give them the resources they need. Let's support our chief and our police force and our police associations who are working hard to get a good package for everyone in our department. So I know that our heart is in it, and thank you for my colleagues for voting on all that. Lastly, which is, it's a bit of a somber tone because it's not good news. It's something that just came out today, and I can't sweep it under the rug. That is, one of our Orange County supervisors has resigned and pled guilty to bribery conspiracy charge. This is with a very heavy heart that we have to, I'm not going to mention his name, but he sat here on this council for 2 years and served honorably. And I believe some mistakes were made. And I'm here to comfort everybody who feels the pain that I do. We're all in this together. We didn't have a role in this, but people tend to hold others guilty by association, and I want people to know that that's not the right mentality to have. Once the person has accepted their responsibility, there will be justice served, and we thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation, our district attorney, Todd Spitzer, and everybody else who have worked hard on this case and bring everything to light. It's very, very important that we get accurate information, that we keep calm, and we comfort each other. We'll get over it. We'll get over it, and it'll be a lesson that should never be repeated. There's no place for corruption in Garden Grove or Orange County or anywhere in government offices. So I'm very, very disappointed and saddened. And I share that because I think we need to talk about it, and we need to encourage each other to to stay positive, just to be strong through all this. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple quick things. October is a very busy month, and so with all the activities and events on everyone's calendar, I don't want everyone to forget about National Take Back event for expired and unwanted medications. Please don't flush these down the toilet. Don't just throw them in the trash. This is an opportunity to take any unwanted or unused prescriptions or expired medications, bring them to the Garden Grove Police Department to safely give them back. It is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. this Saturday at our police department, so mark your calendars if that's something that would be beneficial to you. And then I just wanted to, I guess, really just kind of give a shout out and a kudos to our Garden Grove app. I've had a lot of positive feedback lately just about the app from residents, not only the ease of use, but how quickly they're seeing graffiti cleaned up when mentioning it, snapping a picture, putting it on the app, and getting that response and that cleanup very quickly. So if it's something that you don't have on your phone, go to your app store and download the Garden Grove City app. Thank you.
Thank you. First, I'd like to share that Council Baby Penelope Peñalosa was hard at work representing Garden Grove at the Cal Cities conference. She's attended several workshops and walked around the resource fair and engaged with a lot of vendors, so that was really great. And she was definitely the most behaved person at the conference, I'll tell you that. In light of Councilmember Cindy Tran's comments, I believe that the conference next year is in Anaheim. I think it'll be in Anaheim for a few years because San Jose is having, or Sacramento or San Jose is having construction done at their convention center. So it would also be a great opportunity for the city to highlight some fun things and maybe highlight Foods of Garden Grove and Foods of Garden Grove Live. Maybe we can steal over some of the attendees to Garden Grove to help boost our sales. Next, I just want to remind everyone that the election is November 5th, and when we're talking about, voting in individuals to represent us who know what they're doing and won't be corrupt, it's important that you do your research and make sure that you vote. With that being said, I hope that the city can work with IT and graphics to create some sort of messaging in the coming weeks and hopefully highlight our polling places and ballot box drop-offs, because I believe that it's just the new areas of the last 2 or 3 elections and people still don't know where polling places are or where their ballot boxes are. And so if we could highlight them somehow on a graphic, on a map, and list them so folks can see them in multiple ways and maybe put it at the front of our website, I think that would be really helpful. I also want to say a profound and immense thank you to our former city clerk, Pomeroy, and to give a congratulations to new city clerk, Liz Vasquez. So excited to be able to have a few meetings with you before we're gone. I also want to share that my favorite event of the year is coming up, Dia de los Muertos at Buena Clinton, and I'm very excited to attend that later this week. I also want to wish our city manager a happy belated birthday and a special happy 17th birthday to my niece, Loremi Peñalosa. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. City Manager Lisa Kim.
No items, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. General Counsel, anything to report out? Any need for closed session?
Nothing from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Wonderful. With that, we will stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.